The number of confirmed deaths has passed 200. The governor has called a state of emergency.
There are hundreds and hundreds of bodies.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Last of Us Survivor Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 5, The Suburbs. This is Sewers. So this is a very long level, and there are a couple of really challenging moments in it. It's more a challenge on resource than it is actual difficulty. But there's one fight in particularly where there's a lot of enemies. There's a lot of the stalkers. It's the second time you've met them, and it's the final time you'll meet them, to my knowledge. Which is weird, but cool at the same time, that they can be so, selective with their enemy base. And you get a little mini shotgun pistol. And it was at this point when I realised I was kind of disappointed with the guns in this game. And I'm not too sure if I've gone over this, so I'll mention it again for the sake of repeating myself. But the guns on this game I thought were going to be more traditional survival fare. I didn't think they were going to go the way they went, which is, they're essentially the guns they had in Uncharted. And it feels a little bit lazy, in my opinion, even though they do look different and they are called something different. It's the same paradigms. Like, you get the Magnum with the scope, you get the shotgun pistol, and, stuff like that. I thought they had the flexibility to have some really creative and different tools at your disposal. Case in point, a nail gun. Finding things in garages that you can turn into weapons. I'm not asking for it to be Dead Space, I'm just asking for it to not be Uncharted, if you get me. And one thing this game does perfectly is it shakes off the shackles of the Uncharted name, because this is the anti-Uncharted game. And if you come to this, there is almost no way you can say this is just reskinned Uncharted, because it just isn't. But one thing that you can criticise, I believe, is the weapons. And where they're still fun to use and they still enrich the game, I just expected them to be a little bit different, is all. But as I mentioned, it is a very minor grope that I have personally with the game, compared to an immense list of qualities that are objective and observational and have nothing to do with preference. They're just a great, fantastic, enriching video game. But the puzzle here in the sewers is to swim under there, take the branch out of the gears so that you can lift up this floodgate, and then you can move forward and probably get a pallet, because this game loves the pallets. Yeah, it's up there on the balcony. So there's a choice here, folks. You can sneak to the right into the room with the clickers and pick up some stuff. Not this room, when you climb up the ladder. Or you can just go to the left, tip the pallet, and then get back to everybody else. I really don't think there's much use in going in the room, because it's more risk than it is reward, and I'm going to get myself into a really tense situation with the clicker. Which, I wasn't necessarily worried because I do have ammo, but I didn't really want to waste too much ammo because I know what's coming. I know there are a lot of shootouts coming, and I don't have a lot of bullets. So it's bang on the corner of this door. You see him? There he is. And we know at this point that if you sneak past a clicker, especially when it's a stationary clicker like this guy, he will not hear you. So you are in no threat as long as you are not moving at full speed. If you are not lightly brushing the analog, they will see you and they will rip your jugular, like they do every time they get close to you. And the solace here is if you have a shotgun, you can insta-kill them when they get close. The trick is waiting for them to get essentially in biting distance. If they're in biting distance, your shotgun is going to tear them a new asshole. But you'll notice I pick up something there. There's nothing really else in the room, and I make my journey back. But something happens here, and I'm not sure what. I don't know if it's the noise of the catwalk. It's that. That's it. He's clicking. And I didn't have volume. So I didn't notice he was clicking. And he knew something was moving. So now, I'm in this really weird situation where he's trying to locate what he sensed, and I'm trying to get the fuck away from him. And if I stop moving, he can't sense me when he clicks, but if he gets close enough, he will aggro. So there's this really interesting situation of, this thing looks like it's going to follow me to the end of the earth. And right there looks like it's going to get angry and come for me. But it's not. It's just an animation. It's just a little bit of frustration. And then he turns around and he walks away. And it doesn't look like too much, does it? But at the time, my heart was in my throat for that entire sequence, and it felt like it took forever. But it was a minute's worth of gameplay. And those are the situations where this game shines over a lot of other games, because it elicits so much emotion from the player. Or it did from me. And admittedly, I am a pretty emotional guy. You know, I'm a passionate guy. And a lot of people misconvey anger and misconvey, you know, tonal things for passion. And I think that's kind of silly, because it's just, you know, it's just one of those things. If you're passionate about something, you are going to come across as a little crazy at times, but you're always a much more interesting person to talk to than somebody who has no passion. And I would rather be surrounded by passionate people than I would, you know, pieces of fucking surrogate wallpaper, which is what some people are like. And we've all worked with those people where you've gave them a question, or you've gave them an, you know, just an open inquiry to trigger some conversation, and they've given you a one-word answer and immediately killed any hope of dialogue because they're socially awkward or just boring people. But this sequence here, when Ellie goes up, she's going to activate the generator. It moves this thing that I think you can get on if you're fast enough. I tried, but I missed it, which moves the two guys across, and then he's going to help pull us up, which it seems like there's a step in this that could have been avoided. But it's all good once I finished burping off the coma I had earlier, because it's come on back on me like a bastard. But the next area we move into is the residential zone of this sewer stronghold, and there is a lot of infected. There's going to be some interesting shootouts, and with ammo preservation on my mind, I'm going to try and let the AI do all the work by putting myself as far away from the action as possible. And the reason I do this is the AI can only be killed if they're grabbed for the full duration. They can't be beaten down and injured enough so that they die. They have to be grabbed, it seemed. And in my experience, the AI takes a much bigger beating than you do, so you want to always try and use that to your advantage. But in this room here, we've just acquired Tools Level 3, so when we go to upgrade our weapons, we'll now be able to do the third slot of upgrades as long as we have the parts to pay for it. But this right here is, as he says, is a trap that's to alert people. It's like a makeshift alarm. And I was surprised that this game didn't have more sections where there were traps. There seemed to be a couple in Billstown, but they were all the same and very predictable. And I do think that's something that the game definitely missed out on a potential. Because traps can be cool, they can be cheap, but they can also be very, very cool. We've just picked up the Shorty, which is the handheld shotgun. I love this weapon. It looks stupid, but it's really, really good. And it gives you essentially two shotguns, which is really good news, because the shotgun is the best weapon on the game. You know, I don't care what anybody says, the shotgun is the best. It crowd controls, it kills, it does everything you need it to do. The only weapon I would say comes even close to it is the bow, and the bow is so sporadic in its usefulness that shotgun wins every time, baby. And I would rather have a semi-full shotgun than any other weapon on this game. It's so useful, and now we have two, and they perform very similarly. I don't really think there's any benefits to either one of them. Like, I don't really know. I don't think there's anywhere you can find the stats or any of the metadata, which I wish you could. Like, one of the things I used to like doing back before the internet was the place it is today, with videos and walkthroughs and so much information on so many games, is I used to like buying official primer guides or piggyback guides or whoever the fuck made the guide. Now, this section here is a big firefight, so if you back up these stairs, put on whatever you've got that does close quarters, and try not to have anybody come to you. If you play this correctly, most of the guys will come to them, and you can shit stomp them. But do you notice how someone's been grabbed? If someone gets grabbed and they don't get them off, you need to get them off or you will fail. If anybody gets close, this shotgun is going to turn them into dog shit, so feel free to do so. Just wait for them to get close, and then look at that. Oh, the jib is so good. And then save your ammo, let everybody else do the work, as I do nothing, as I've just told you to do. Like, you don't need to shoot as much as I did then. Only shoot the things that come to you, and you should be okay. But I used to get guides, and I didn't get guides because I struggled with the games or anything along those lines. I got them because I wanted to know everything, and I wanted to know the things that you just can't really seem to learn. I also got them for exclusive artwork and because they looked awesome and they smelt good too. I used to love walkthroughs, and I have like a dresser. It's not really a dresser, it's more a shelf, a broken shelving unit that the entire bottom part of it is filled with guides. And to give you some example of the type of guides that I got there, like I've got the original Devil May Cry as the primer guide, I've got Final Fantasy VIII, I've got Final Fantasy IX, I've got Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, you know, just the games that I was interested at the time that I could find the guides for, because another thing was it was really difficult to get guides for everything, because only so many came out, and they were expensive too back in the day. They still are expensive, it's just a case of now I have more access to money, because I'm not a child, but the guides used to teach you so many things, they used to give you stats and everything, but one thing I've noticed as I've got older, and as information has spread more widestream and the internet's become this entity of just everything, a lot of those primer guides are wrong. And I find it absolutely baffling. Because those people are being paid to do what I'm doing now, only in a completely different sense. They are paid to create a physical book that will guide you through the game. And the first time I noticed that they perhaps weren't as good as I thought they were when I was a kid was when I saw the Final Fantasy X walkthrough. And for the main game, the walkthrough was stellar. It told you where things were, it told you a handful of stuff. It didn't explain certain things that really pissed me off. But there was a walkthrough for Penance, which was the hardest boss on that game, and it was only in, I believe, the European version, or like, was it not in the North American version, but it was everywhere else. It was an optional boss that wasn't in a certain version of the game. And at the time, I thought it was one of the hardest bosses ever because I couldn't beat it. And I eventually did beat it, and I didn't use Yojimbo, and it took about 5 hours to kill. And it was one of those epic moments of my childhood where I felt like a badass. I felt, you know, amazing. This firefight here, folks, is a lot of stalkers, a couple of these clickers, and just a pain in the ass because I'm not going out into this room because it's suicide, and the AI on this enemy is weird. Sometimes they'll come at you, sometimes they don't. It's so weird and random that my advice is to stay here, use yourself as bait, pull them one at a time if you can, and punish them. It takes about 2 shots from your pistols to kill them on Survivor. It usually takes 1 to 2 shots from the shotgun depending on range, and I think the rifle is a 1 shot because it's powerful. But this takes longer than it should for no other reason than the AI are assholes. They're fucking hyenas, man. They just... See, one's coming for me now. Do you see her? 1 shot, miss that shot like an idiot, and then go to punch her, get slapped. This is where it gets a bit sloppy. Yeah. So, learn from my mistakes, folks. Don't play as sloppy as I just did. But this boss in Final Fantasy X, if you've never played, is a very difficult boss, and at the time, there was no strategies on how to beat him. You literally made your own strategies. And in the guide, it was a paragraph of information saying, this is the strongest enemy in the game, it has 12 million life, it is super hard, good luck. That is literally what it said in the guide. Good luck. Not a strategy, not any way to help, not any good strategies, nothing, absolutely nothing. Good luck. And for me, that ruined that guide, because it wasn't a guide at that point, it was something that didn't fucking help you when you needed it most. It was an insult, you know. It was like a Mars bar on a fishing rod, and somebody just keeps reeling it in when you think you're going to grab it. It just wasn't cool. And then those guides have just gone significantly worse, because as I've grown up, and as I've started my own stuff, started creating content to help gamers like myself, these guides are not for hardest difficulties, these guides are for normal. This was based on the normal difficulty, i.e. the difficulty you don't need fucking help with because the game plays itself. Like, that's hyperbole, obviously, but that doesn't help anybody who plays on anything higher. Like, games are so easy nowadays, making a walkthrough for a game on normal is completely pointless. There's no place for that at all, unless you're doing it on YouTube and you're putting commentary on and you're a funny guy, or you're interesting, or you've got a hook that makes you different to everybody else. But not only do these books not do them on the harder difficulties, so they're ostracizing a large percentage of their people that are going to need that fucking book, but there's mistakes in them. They miss things, they don't log certain things, they even give misinformation, because it's people who have played the game quite a lot in context to, you know, Timmy Two-Tones, who only puts 10 minutes in and stops playing. But your job is to give people 100% official, confirmed information, and you're not even doing that right. And you're being paid! Gosh, it baffles the mind. It really does. And there's a difference between me telling you something and saying, this is my experience, this is my... You know, this is how I think it works, because I've played a certain amount of time and this is how it seems to function. These companies that make these videos, they can talk to the dev. They could be like, yo guys, is this true? Is this right? Is it this parameter? Is it that parameter? Does this always work? Or is it based on some kind of scale or some kind of algorithm? They can ask them these questions. I can't, because I just get, thank you for buying the game. Now our customer support line is available at 08089 and it's $9 a line. Like, no thank you, I'm not phoning a fucking international number for you to tell me that, congratulations, you bought The Last of Us. It's just dumb, and it's silly, and these books that I cherished as a child, I've now grown to realise, are fucking worthless. You know, now GameFAQs exists, now the internet exists. Traditional media needs to do something special to compete with these outlets, because these outlets are free. This content you're watching right now is free. And you pay money for official confirmation of ideas and strategies, and you don't even get them. Like, I would love if an official from Primer was watching this and like, this guy's true. Everything he said is valid. Let's hire this motherfucker. Like, yeah, hire me. Because I would be the most thorough person you could ever wish to meet. Because if I have a direct line to the developers, those developers are either going to hate me or hire me by the end of making that guide. Because I would back up everything with fact. Because that's how it's supposed to work. You know, I believe in quality. I believe in giving a product to people that is the best that can be made. And skimping on information and the stuff that those things do, it's just tragic. Because those books used to mean so much, and they might have just as been as shit as they were then as they are now. I just didn't notice it because I had no frame of reference. But that doesn't cut it anymore because the world has moved on. And there's probably a massive decrease in those books selling. But I do think there is something special about having a physical thing. And not only for the use of sitting on the toilet with it, because we all know sitting on the toilet with something to read gaming associated is one of the many privileges of being a gamer and a human being, but just holding it in your hands. It's the difference between a book and a Kindle. Kindles are great, they're convenient, but they're not a fucking book. A book is something, you're turning pages, there is a physicality to it. It's almost primal. And I should really talk about the game here, because this is where shit's going to get crazy. And earlier on in the guide, if I mention I got grabbed and played sloppy and you're wondering what I'm on about because the video is slightly different, I died on that sequence and didn't edit it correctly, so I had to remove it, but I've kept the commentary because I liked it. So if you're kind of frowning about what the hell I'm talking about at that moment, I haven't had a stroke, it's just the casualties of editing. You know, sometimes when you're in a rush you do miss things. But this sequence here, you want to run away from everything at this first part, and then there is a really interesting firefight coming up, which I'm not the biggest fan of because it's kind of cheap. But just keep running up. I think this here as well, this notion of being chased or running away from something that isn't directly combat related or puzzle related is something that this game could have done with a little bit more instances of. You know, I'm not asking for Uncharted where you're running through that marketplace following Taper, but those moments would definitely diversify the adventure, and as diverse as this adventure is, I think it could have done with more of them. Like, just imagine being chased by an infected dog. I will never forget how terrifying that first dog in the mansion on Resident Evil 1 was, because that motherfucker could kill you so quickly and you just did not have the tools to kill it, because it was so fast, the aiming was shit, you know, games back then didn't care, they were just brutal. But what is going to happen here is there is a horde of enemies about to attack you, and you have to wait a certain amount of time before the door behind you opens. And this is one of the areas of the game where I honestly think has been badly programmed or badly designed, because Ellie doesn't tell you when the door is open. So you can be struggling, surviving, and wasting ammo when you're able to escape. And you can't trigger it until you turn to look at it. So you can't walk backwards hoping that the door will be open eventually. You have to turn to the door and it triggers an event of you leaving. And I think it's not great. But my strategy is throw a Molotov to try and give them an area of denial. save as much ammo as you can. Hope that the dude with you is going to shoot people. If anybody gets close to you, put them down. If you do get grabbed, it's not the end of the world, because it doesn't do that much damage. But you notice how the door's open? Door was open, Ellie didn't say a thing. She just stood there looking at me like a fucking dog that'd been shown a card trick. It's not cool, dude. It's just not cool. Thank you for watching, and you take care now.